I wanted to make this a separate video. I wanted to respond to a comment left on Kern's video by B43UK. And I just want to say, of course, Bonnie, I respect you, and we've had little discussions in the comments section in the past, and I appreciate your contribution to all my videos. This is meant to be in no way disparaging towards you or to sort of single you out or anything like that, but I mean, we're talking about a public forum. And it just illustrates some of what I believe, what appears to me as a sort of a disconnect with the notion of subjective morality. And so I'll go ahead and read Bonnie's comment. I agree, morality is subjective. There are no absolute right and wrong answers to any given situation. What society deems to be acceptable today might be seen as wholly unacceptable at some point in the future. And that's an interesting statement to me, because we don't conduct ourselves in that way. The language that we use is always absolute. You're very vehement, I think, when you see the subjugation of women, a woman being stoned to death for having been raped, the rape of a child, these horrible, horrific, unthinkable things. You speak out vehemently against them. Now, some people don't. Occasionally they don't. Maybe not in specific instances, but in general. I've got a video up highlighted on my channel where I highlight the Bible-thumping wingnut, talking about certain atheists that won't come out and say that rape is always immoral, and he's pretty frustrated about it, and I kind of respond as well. I kind of understand his frustration, though, because I don't understand how someone can't come out and make those statements, but quite often we do. I think most people do. They make these statements, that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. It doesn't really square with saying it's subjective, and there's no actual right or wrong answer to any given situation. Well, you don't extend, you said that what may be acceptable today might be wholly unacceptable in the future. And of course, you could reverse that as well in the past. Well, you don't really extend that same consideration to Christians. When we're, as atheists, arguing with Christians, we don't give them that same consideration. We say the authors of the Bible, and if your God really exists, is all immoral, because it condones slavery, and slavery is immoral. We're not extending that consideration that, hey, at that time and place, it might have been moral. And that, of course, begs the question, what changed? Did we just change, or did the actual morality of that act change? Was it actually moral then, and now it's immoral? Or was it always immoral, and we have just come to recognize that? Or are we wrong now? Has it always been moral and we've gone astray? Again, I think these are really critical questions to be asking oneself when asserting that morality is subjective. I want to reiterate, I don't have all the answers. I don't know it all. I'm not making any absolute statements about it myself. What I'm pointing out is critical philosophy here, the inconsistencies that I see with asserting those things. You also, to say that there's no absolute right and wrong in any given situation, you also don't extend that same consideration to, say, Christian parents or just religious parents who are denying their child medical treatment in favor of prayer. You come out pretty strongly, most of us, against that. And we make arguments that rely on objective facts, the efficacy of prayer, and the potential for medical treatment. Sometimes these things are very, very simple. Sometimes they're simple illnesses. It could be very easily fixed, or relatively easily fixed. A blood transfusion or something. Pardon me, banana burp. A lot of bananas. On the positive side, I haven't had a migraine in 7 weeks, so hopefully something's going right there. A lot of water intake too. Anyway, we don't extend that same consideration to those people. When we're talking about these heavy moral heavyweight issues. And so I feel like there's a disconnect there. Even the same as I've said before, how do you export your morality then if it is all subjective and there is truly no right or wrong answer, and that it can be like sort of time sensitive, that at some point in time things might change. And this is why I feel like morality must be objective. There must be some sort of a way of discovering morality that accurately reflects our interaction with one another, and that there's got to be a way to define what is moral and what is immoral. And I think we're coming to that conclusion. I think we're coming to that realization as a species. I think that's why we've had this slow, increasing movement towards individual rights and freedoms. We've tried to stop subjugating people, we've stopped slavery, we're slowly moving, always seems to me, in the general direction, at least in the West, of ever-increasing personal rights and freedoms, especially rights to personhood and your own integrity, your own bodily integrity. Again, the arguments about genital mutilation, these are all made with very, very firm, unequivocal statements. That is wrong. You shouldn't do that to people. The child has a right to not be mutilated, etc., etc. Did that change? Is the morality of that act itself change? Let's end with a question, a direct question. Did the morality of that act change, or have we changed in our understanding of the ethical value of that act? So again, no disrespect. Love you all. Really appreciate the conversation. Thanks as always for watching.